Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Thank you for always tuning in to my videos and watching to the end, not skipping the ads. I cannot forget that. And thank you so much for your support. My name is Anna Mugeshe. In case you're new in this channel, please consider this to be your channel. Anna Mugeshe is a counselor. Anna Mugeshe talks about families, family issues, marriage issues, and general family matters. That is what I am passionate about. And thank you so much, guys, for supporting me. Still at 1.7k subscribers. I bless the Lord for you. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Please do subscribe. And today I want to talk about a very important topic, and I want to talk about parenting. I want to talk about parents, and more so, I want to talk about teens and raising up teenagers. That is what I want to talk about. And without any other ado, I want to introduce this topic. I want us to talk about these boys and girls who are teenagers. And I decided to do this because I want to talk about midterm. Our children are going for midterm, our boys and girls are going for midterm, and that is why I want to talk about it. I want us to change our ways of parenting, especially when these boys and girls are going to join us during the midterm for the few days that are going to join us. And I'll tell you why I have decided and I've prepared to talk about this topic, because it's something that I've always wanted to talk about. It is something that is giving so many parents issues and problems, especially on how to deal with these young ones. And thank you for joining me. Please do subscribe. Here it is. Give me a thumbs up. There are people who are commenting and telling me how my tips and my advices on the counselor's insights are really supporting them and helping them. And I hope you guys are going to share, give me thumbs up, and ensure that these tips and many advices reach other people as we talk about the tips of raising up a teenager. Here it is as I wait for you to subscribe. Thank you. So yes, thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, and let me go direct to the topic and let me start the video. I have prepared some tips here, I have prepared some things here, and we're going to talk about giving you the tips of how to raise up a teenager as a counselor. I don't have a teenager yet, I have a preteen, but I deal with them so much because I mentor teenagers, I counsel teenagers, especially if you really want them to be mentored. You can contact me through the contacts below and at the description of the video. And as I start the video, I want to give you the tips. I want to talk about the teenagers and how I refer to them. These are children who are not young boys, they are not young men, they are not adults, and they are not kids. They are there in between, and that is where the problem comes. Nobody really seems to understand the teenagers, starting from the parents. Nobody really seems to understand these boys and girls of ours. And so I'm going to give you the tips of parenting or raising up teenagers or teens, those who refer themselves as adults, yet they are not. They are not kids because they will tell you they are not kids. And so I want to start by saying that these children are growing so much rapidly and they are changing very much. And the best thing you can understand as a parent is that these children are filled up with emotional, intelligent, physical, and social turmoil. And as a parent, if you understand that, then it is going to be very easy for you. As a parent, if you also understand that the actions that these children do, the action that these children do is not an insult to you, neither are they punishing you, neither is it an insult to them. It is just their doing, it is their work, they are growing up. And the moment you understand that as a parent, you're good to go. And again, why I decided to have this topic, I've said many times that I deal with these teenagers, and many of them are running away from whatever they are facing in their homes, whatever they are facing, from their guardians and all that. And that is why you see so many teenagers running into drugs, because nobody really understands them. There's one thing that I want you to tell your parents as a tip, that there are those rules that you put when they are young, the rules, the truths, and the regulations that you had put as these children were growing up, that was fitting them when they were younger. And so the approach should now change, because it was effective then. And then now you need to change the approach, because these kids they're trying to be young adults, and that is where they're going in. Trying to be young adults, yes, they are not adults. And so those rules and the regulations that you had put to fit them when they were growing up may not fit. So you have to adjust and regulate a bit. The other thing that I've always wanted to talk, I've had a group of boys sometimes back, and I talked to them, and we're talking about them telling their parents how they feel, telling their mothers how they feel, their guardians, and their fathers how they feel. They were like, no, we can't do that because they're just too harsh. And I want to say this, mothers and fathers, guardians, those who are bringing up young teenagers or teens, harshness, being so strict will not work for them. In fact, you are just going to lose them. So you can try to be lenient, you can try to understand, you can try to have time with them, you can try to change some rules just to fit them. And if they try to show a bit of maturity, then you can give them a leeway to some of these things so that they can be teenagers. And so adjust some of your rules is some of the things that you're going to do. Being harsh, being an animal to them will not help. In fact, you are going to lose them. As you know what? As they grow towards greater independence, they feel this is my room and this is where I'm going to sleep. I don't feel like talking, I don't feel like anything. As they grow to the greater part of their independence, they rebel and resist your rules as parents. They rebel, they resist as the rules of the parents. And that is exactly what will happen to them. So the best thing you can do is to make sure that the rules that you give, you need to change so that they are able to fit into the new rules and as young adults. And if they show a bit of maturity, judgment, you need to give them leeways or privileges so that they can be trusted. Because trust me, these boys and girls can be trusted. Have you been so harsh on them? They are coming, try to show some positivity and some understanding. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that hold them accountable. Tell them whatever action they do have consequences. Whatever thing they do have consequences. And I'll give an example as a stakeholder in education. You parents, how do you allow your children to go back to school before they do the homework? Just came back from the holidays. They are coming back for midterm and they are going to be given some assignment. It is your duty to ensure that you can hold them accountable. Do their homework, and you boys and girls, make sure that you do the homework if you want to be trusted by your parents. So hold them accountable, set and follow through the consequences. Because of course, if they don't do the homework, if they don't do the assignments and they are taken back home from school, then that is the consequence. So tell them that everything they do has a consequence. The other thing that I'm concerned about is that this group of people or teens told me that they would prefer when their parents, their dad is not in the house. Dads, what are you doing to the boys and girls? You must be very strict, and I've told you that harshness and strictness will not work very much for them. So you've got to change your rules, you've got to fit them. You've got to let them fit in your shoes, because once you understand that these guys are full of emotional physical and intellectual turmoil, social turmoil, then you will be able to understand these boys and girls. And once you understand this, you are able to manage this child's new and rocky stage of development. I call it new and rocky stage of development because these boys and girls, these teens, can no longer understand themselves. Remember, they are growing up and things are happening in their bodies. And if you don't let them tell you how they feel, if you are too harsh for them, then what will happen is that they're going to shut down. And trust me, you don't want a teen who is not talking. You don't want a teen in the house who shuts down. You don't want a teen that you don't really know what is happening inside them. I hope I'm helping you. I hope I'm giving you the tips on dealing with these people, and I hope you can really understand. Subscribe as I come back, as I take a cup of tea, and this is the Counselor's Insights. And welcome back and back again. Subscribe, I'll be back. So I'm back. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching to the end. Thank you because you're still here, and I know you're still here. So in case you've just joined us, we are talking about how to raise up a teenager or a teen. And what I've been giving is are the tips on how to bring up teenagers without any struggle. The other point that I wanted to raise to us as parents who are, as I do this because I'm a stakeholder. I deal so much with teenagers and I know the issues they raise, especially when it comes to dealing with their parents, and sometimes they just find themselves shutting up. And like I said, you don't want to have a teenager who has just shut down. You want a boy and a girl who is talking to you, and especially now that they are coming back for midterm, you need them. The other thing I want to raise is that these boys and girls, the teens, want you in their lives but at their terms. Remember, these are young boys and girls who are not even understanding what they feel and how they want to deal with it, and they just want you to deal according to their terms. They need you in their lives. They cannot make it without you, but they want it at their own terms. And you as a parent, once you understand that, it will be easier to understand with them. Of course, you're going to raise your thumb. Of course, you're going to be firm, but you need to understand them. You need to have time with them. You need to know what is happening. You need to look at the body changes physically, emotionally, socially, because all these aspects of their lives are in turmoil. And the moment you understand them and you see what is happening, then it will be easier for you to deal with them as a parent. And so this group of boys and girls sometimes back told me they would prefer when their dad is not in the house. And I asked why, and they said we cannot tell them anything. And they said you're very harsh, and they said you're very tough. And this is a group of people who represents other teens. And that is exactly what is happening. Parents, trust me, they may not tell you anything. You are very much harsh on them. I've said you set rules. I've said you set the, expect them to keep their word, and you do the same. Expect them to keep your word, to keep their word, and do the same. If you promise you are going to do this, keep your word. If they promise to do this, expect them to keep their word. And parents, please check after they come for midterm whether they have done the homework. If it is the ones who have just finished the Form 4 and you've already started having issues with them, you need to understand them. You need to give them a leeway. You need to know that they are no longer kids and that is how they feel. And you need to understand your rules may be old dated according to these boys who are growing. Now, I don't know why this light of mine is keeping on changing, but I hope you're going to understand. It's a bit cold. It's a bit dark outside there. And so that is why I'm trying to go somewhere where there is enough light. So guys, I hope I'm helping you. And the other thing is that we have said that they need you in their lives. They really need you, but on their terms. Once you understand that as a parent and understand that these are boys and girls who are in turmoil about their lives, then you will be good to go. The other thing is that you need to respect and listen to them. Respect, listen to them, have time with them. If the answer is no, you got to explain why it is a no. Because remember, they want to live under you, but at their own terms. Take away privileges if they cannot handle the freedom. I'll give a good example. Probably there are these ones who have just finished Form 4. They have not yet even taken they are still 18. So they are still in the age of teen. They are young teenagers, 17. And they have just cleared and they want to go visit. They want to have meetings. They want to party. They want to do that. Trust that they can keep their word, but keep your word. That is what you have said. But if you give them the privilege of visiting and having party and all that, but they cannot handle the freedom, take it away. Because remember, what I'm talking about is that you need to have a dialogue, you need to have a conversation with them, because you need to respect and listen to them. That is the only way they can talk to you, if they know you are listening to them. And this is what I told the group of these teenagers that I was mentoring, that I was counseling, and I was talking to. And if you have a group of teenagers that you'd want somebody to talk to them, to mentor, I am ready to do that, even if it's for free, because it is passionate. I am passionate about it. Gather the boys, gather the girls. Let's keep the COVID-19 protocols, and I'll be able to talk to them. I'll also be able or available to talk to you parents and ensure that we bring up teenagers who are drug-free. We bring up teenagers who are suicidal-free, because if you respect and listen to them, then they'll keep on coming back to you to tell them for reference. To tell you for reference, to tell you this and this is happening, this and this is going to happen, and they will be keeping on asking what they can do. And don't take their difficult behaviors as a challenge. It is not a challenge to them. It is something that they're going through, because these young ones are growing up and they are in turmoil. So don't take it as a challenge. The other one is that the peer influence is important for them. Accept peers as an important influence. Sometimes it can be positive, sometimes it can be negative. At the same time, you don't want these boys to be an island. You want them to talk to others, because you want them to grow. And the moment you give them the privileges to talk with others, that is how they are going to grow. And they are going to be disciplined. And when they are independent, they are able to judge that this is a wrong peer influence and this is the right peer influence. Yes, I hope I'm helping you. I said you hold them accountable, take away privileges, reward increasing maturity. Remember, these boys and girls are growing. If they show a bit of maturity and judgment, reward them. Keep your word. Praise them. You don't have to buy them anything, but you tell them, okay, that was good and that was very good of you. That was the right judgment. And when they do it wrong, we have said you cut down the privileges and tell them, keep your word if you want the privileges back. It is not a take or a give and take, but this is the only way we can be accountable and they can be accountable. Continue sharing your values. This does not mean because they want to live they want to live their terms. Give them the values. Share the values to them and share a lot of the values to them. Remember, teens can be passionate, exuberant, and creative. The teens can be passionate, exuberant, fun, and creative. Raising them can fill your life with the same. Remember, teens can be passionate, they can be exuberant, they can be fun to live with, they can be fun to deal with, and they can put the same fun and smile into your life. You don't have to be gloomy. If you're bringing up a teenager, I hope that can help you. The bottom line is, these are young beings who are in turmoil socially, physically, emotionally, intellectually. Remember, they are still in school or they have just cleared school. And so, the moment you understand them, the moment you adjust the rules, the moment you hold them accountable, the moment you keep your word, you're good to go. You are very much good to go. So thank you so much, parents. Thank you so much, guardians. Thank you so much, aunties. Thank you so much, Family Matters. Family and the whole family fraternity, the whole family ministry. I hope I have been inspiring you. And why don't you share this link and help those teenagers? You can watch with them. You can discuss this video with them, and you can let them also comment as they come home for midterm. And parents, feel happy to raise these young men and girls, young ladies and young men, as they would refer to themselves. You want them cancelled, you want them mentored, just gather them and call me through the contacts on the description part of it. And God bless you even as you bring them up. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you for watching. Bye.